Yo, what's going on, y'all? Spikes here, Spikes, and you figure we go ahead and cover the recent changes to the task because, a few weeks ago we did make a Meseta video, and because I want y'all to have clear and up-to-date and concise information, I figure I'd go ahead and make a video covering the changes that they are making to the tasks. These are pretty huge changes, and we'll go over it and we'll cover it, and we'll have a nice little chart for you, show you the exact numbers that you're seeing and everything like that, so you get a nice little visual of everything to come. For those who are not aware, oh, by the way, I'll go ahead and link that video. We made a guide video, how to make Meseta as a free-to-play player and how to use the personal shop as a free-to-play player. So I'll make sure that I link that up above and into the comments, or into the description rather, so that way y'all can reference that, because everything else is staying the same. It's just these tasks are going to be different. You will get a different amount of Meseta from them, as well as other things that they're adding to it, but specifically the Meseta differences, right? Because that's what the video was about previously, was Meseta. So we really want to discuss that and tackle these new changes that they have. So first and foremost, we'll just go over real quickly what the changes are. These are going to take effect next month. So April 5th is when they will take effect. So if you're watching this video after April 5th, these have already taken effect, and you can react to them accordingly and do them accordingly. So here we have this update that was posted onto the site. Hopefully y'all can read this. Looks okay to me. This was posted onto the site 2 days ago. And it reads, we will make adjustments to the content and rewards of the daily and weekly tasks on the update on 4/5/23. Make sure this is zoomed in so y'all can see this properly. This to review and balance and say, adjustment details. And so down here, they basically list a whole bunch of adjustment details, which I'll let you go over. I'll show it in the spreadsheet instead. But long story short, the weeklies and the dailies are being modified, and you will get different amounts of Meseta from them, and we'll show how much total difference this will be, and we'll kind of give our input on it, right? So instead of looking at this, we'll just pull up this here. So I made this spreadsheet. I was looking over it, and we decided to make this spreadsheet. We, as in I, decided to make this spreadsheet. All right, so you'll see here basically what we're looking at, and I'll keep this up for a while so y'all can kind of look at it as we talk, and in case you want to have it as a reference point as well. It will be great for that. So basically what we're looking at is the tasks that you're seeing here are going to be changed in this accordance. So here we have after the 4.5 update, and here we have what we have currently. As you can see here already majorly, you're going to notice this big difference right here. There's a huge difference because basically they're making dailies. They're pretty much making it like most games are right now, like Fortnite or or Genshin Impact or Valorant, where they're trying to grab you and keep you playing, keep you logging onto the game daily. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with this because of the big discrepancies in which they are taking away Meseta from the weeklies. Not everyone's necessarily able to get on daily like that, so I'm not sure exactly how I feel about them taking that approach, because it's obviously just a grab to get people to log in daily. That's all it is. It's good for them. It's good for the company, and I understand that. But yeah. So pretty much what we're going to be getting here is this is going to be the difference that you're going to be getting from dailies now. So instead of 8,000 that you would be getting for dailies, this is daily. So you can do this every day. You're going to be getting 134K, so 134,000 per day on dailies. Now let's go over here and let's see exactly where this is coming from. And I'll show you where exactly this is coming from on this daily. This one is this right here. That's the main thing right here, is that complete daily tasks. So by completing all of your daily tasks, you will be rewarded 130,000 instead of the 4,000, which is current as of right now. That's the big hit. That's the big thing. And that's really the thing that you should be worrying about. But then we look at some of these changes that they've taken away from the weekly, and you see that they're really just trying to get people to get on daily. That's really what they're trying to do. You'll see here, by the way, this is if you do these 7 days a week, your total will be almost 1 million compared to 56K. This is in 1 week's time. So I went ahead and calculate that for y'all so y'all can see the difference of what you would be obtaining, what you currently obtain now, and after April 5th, what you would be able to obtain per week. Now, keep this in mind also. Actually, you know what? We'll wait and we'll touch on that. And then here we have the weeklies. So we're showing this here for the weeklies. These are the tasks that we currently have right now. We can even show these in game if you prefer to see an actual visual. And so if we go to the weeklies, you can see all these tasks, and pretty much we're taking into account everything that's not the seasonals. Now, when there's seasonals that are happening, there will be more chances to obtain whether it's items or seasonal points or potentially Meseta that they're giving, or for daily tasks. We have seasonal daily tasks that will be counted towards this daily in the future. But when there's not a seasonal, these will not be here. So expect that and understand that moving forward. But you have these weekly tasks. That's the same thing that you're going to be seeing listed here in the spreadsheet. It basically covers everything and the differences of what we're getting. So DC, as you see here, is discontinue after April 5th. So after April 5th, these will no longer be here. The weapon armor enhancement and the PC burst observation. Currently, if you enhance a weapon, doesn't matter how much, just one time enhance, you would get 50k as a weekly task. The PSC burst observation, if you were to be a part of 3 PSC bursts, you would get 100,000k. These two are going to be discontinued. And if you're watching this after April 5th, they are discontinued as of April 5th. Now, there's going to be some variations that we see here, such as this right here with the urgent quests, which is kind of weird because you're getting 50k here instead of 100k, but look at this, 3 times. So they're taking the amount away, but they're giving more urgent quests that you have to complete. Now, this actually works out. This actually isn't a problem at all if you're part of an alliance that's active and you're doing an alliance task, because the alliance task actually has this exact same thing. There's an alliance task that is 3 urgent quests. So this actually falls perfectly in line with that. This is not going to be a hassle if you are part of an alliance. If you're in an alliance and you're doing your alliance task, period, which you should be doing if you're part of an alliance, especially if you're a bigger alliance, because you get rewards. We've talked about this before in the previous video. I've talked about this, how much you can get from being a part of an alliance and contributing to that alliance, doing your alliance task. You can easily add on 500k, 100 to 500k per week of just free Meseta that you're getting. I'm not going to go back over that though. If you want to look at that, then look at the Meseta video beforehand. But we're just going to focus specifically on the changes today, as all the other information is in the previous video. So I'm not going to go over that. But as you can see, they've also added items and things of the such, and you'll notice that there's star gems that have been added as well, as you can see here. So there's items and there's star gems. And now what you'll notice here, you get 100 star gems to subsidize, I guess, the Meseta that they're taking away. They're also kind of slashed the way that you can make star gems in base PSO2, but I'm not going to cover that because we are talking about NGS. We're not talking about base, even though I know a lot of people use base to get star gems or they come from base. I'm treating this as 2 separate games, as they should be treated as, and as SEGA is clearly trying to force you to do and take away the base and the NGS, which is completely understandable. When the game was first released, it was marketed as its own thing. There was never really supposed to be a heavy intertwining of base PSO2 and NGS. Of course, you hear a lot of people complain about that, but I remember when they first announced NGS, and it was entirely, the whole point of it was never to be heavily entwined to base PSO2. It was not. And as the game moves forward, we can probably expect to see more of that, more of the separation from base PSO2, and to having their own identities. You can pretty much guarantee that. So if you're upset about that, don't expect it to be the last time that something like this will happen. NGS is their workhorse. We know that. It's an extremely profitable game for them. So there's that. Now, if you look at this chart here, you'll see, and hopefully you've been looking at this whole time, so that way you have a visual here so you can see it perfectly fine. And you'll notice the differences here with the change before and the change after. Now, down here is what you'll notice the most. Total Meseta earned from tasks per week. This is if you do 100% completion. This is going to be the difference here and what we're seeing. Now, the only downside here is that if you miss a daily or two, that's a lot, because remember, a daily is 134K. So all it takes is a couple dailies to miss, and then you're dropping right back down to, you know, what it wasn't before. Whereas, you know, these weeklies, these were very easy to complete. You didn't have to get on daily. They very much worked around people's schedules. You know, not everyone's able to just hop on and do these dailies like this. So I think these weeklies will be missed in that the amount of Meseta that they currently give right now in trade-off for the new daily schematics that they're using here. And if you go down here, we also calculate it per month. So for 30 days, you're looking at 3.41 mil for after the 4.5 update after April 5th, compared to 2.56 million currently that we can get per 30 days. That's what we're looking at right now. A notable thing to address as well is this guy right here, the enemy suppression 1 through 5. Currently, we have it set up. Currently, the game has it set up so that you have 5 of these tasks per week that you do. So enemy suppression 1 through 5, and each one gives 50K. So as you see on the chart there, you'll notice the expense or the Meseta amount is me calculating all this. So there's 5 of them, and they all give 50K, which is 250K. And so that's one thing that you'll see there. Whereas the new version, it's just 1. It's just enemy suppression. That's it. It requires you to kill 1,000 mobs, whereas enemy suppression 1 through 5 basically, or like 1 was like 200, and then 2 is like 400, or so, and it builds up, right? And then the 5 is like 1,000 or 1,200 or something like that, right? Whereas after the update, after 4.5 update, it will just be a flat 1,000 enemy suppression. It will just be 1 enemy suppression that you have to do. There's not 5 of them, just 1 enemy suppression, and you only get 50K for it. That's one thing to note as well. That's a pretty big difference right there. And as you see here, suppressed dolls will be discontinued as well, along with the 2 previous items that we spoke of before. So what does this mean for you? What does this mean for you as the player? Well, if you're someone who gets on the game daily, like pretty much myself, I get on the game daily, then it's not really going to be, well, it's going to be a benefit. It's not going to be an issue. You're going to be making a lot more Meseta, if you're getting on daily, doing these daily tasks. And keep in mind, the daily tasks aren't really difficult tasks. Eat food, give the mags some materials, collect some minerals, enemy suppression, and then just like complete dailies. So I mean, they're never really anything too crazy. You can see them here. They're never really anything too crazy. Some of these will have been changed as well. That will become for the region. So like this one is like foraging for minerals in Stia outskirts. Whereas it lists on the website that it says if you're past chapter 5, then it will be like gather these minerals in the Stia region instead of in a specific zone, a specific sector. It will be for the whole region, which makes things honestly a lot easier, a lot simpler. Honestly, a lot easier, to be honest. As you can see here, when you look at this too, if you go down here, for players who have completed chapter 5 of the main story, the target area scope will be changed from a sector to a region, so that will be easier to complete the task. So that's what we're talking about, foraging for materials. So that's kind of what we were just looking at. Whereas, you know, it's 5 pieces in specific sector, as we just looked at 5 pieces in medial outer area. Whereas now it will say 5 pieces in the Stia region, which is actually really huge and makes this daily task much easier to complete. Not that this task was hard to complete anyway, but in that regard, you know, they've made these little small variations that definitely make it easier for you to do these daily tasks. So while it may seem as if it's a nuisance or a pain in the rear to get on and do these dailies, they've at least made them even more simplistic and easier than they already previously were. So that is the benefit. This is a real quick easy way to get a lot of Meseta, as you know, a lot of Meseta very easily. So I think this really helps out the free-to-play base. Of course, you know, if you're a premium or if you have, you know, personal shop access, then that's obviously the better play. But I think that this definitely helps out the the free-to-play user base, and honestly just anyone regardless. The only downside here that I can see is that by stimulating the economy with more Meseta, the more easily obtainable Meseta, there's a good chance that the personal shop will react to it, and we will see items being listed for more because more people have Meseta, and as such, people are going to place items higher. So does this really change anything? Not really. If anything, it changes the amount that, it changes the impact that like leveling an armor will have. Because leveling armors and units, weapons, stuff like that of the sort, those do cost Meseta as well. Doing limit breaks, etc., those cost Meseta as well. So that's the only thing really that's really going to make a difference here, because I strongly believe that the personal shops will react in accordance, and just because you're getting this more Meseta does not mean that anything that you were previously trying to get will be easier to obtain. I just believe that everything's just gonna be bumped up. That's usually how markets work. When you push more money into the population, usually that's how the market's going to just react to it, right? And now, if you wanted to look at this, I'm gonna go ahead and put this up on the screen for a little bit. We're gonna zoom it out a little bit so we can see this. If you wanted to look at this a bit, go ahead and scroll down it for a second so you can see that there are additions that they're adding to the items that you can see here on these. Now, is it really worth it? Is it a great trade-off? That's subjective to, I guess, your needs, and to I guess it's just subjective to your needs. I think them adding star gems definitely is a heavy plus. However, 100 star gems is not necessarily a lot per weekly. I do think that could increase, or they can add methods to get star gems. As we know, like, people go to base PSO2 to get star gems for that very reason, because NGS does not have a lot of methods to get star gems currently right now, that you can kind of do on a normal routinely basis. That pretty much sums it up. There's the other Meseta video, the Meseta guide that I made previously, which you can find in the description below. Remember, we just wanted to cover the changes here on this one, so that way you had an up-to-date video for reference to use along with the Meseta making video that I've made before. So reference those, and you can reference this one as well to see the changes and to just kind of understand where we come from and where we're at now, if you're watching this after April 5th, right? So we can expect to see a lot of changes like these moving forward in NGS as they transition the game to really just be their forefront. Hopefully this chart helps for y'all to have a clear and better understanding, because I know sometimes not seeing things without a visual can kind of be can make things more difficult, right? So hopefully this chart helps out. Y'all can see on the screen. You can pause the screen if you want to look at it. So hopefully this helps. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Holla.